Today, a story about how a guy living in the desert made $7 million. Let's get started.
Tyler Brooks didn't start with an idea. He started with survival. He was 28 years old, living in an old trailer on the outskirts of a small town in Arizona. No air conditioning, no proper heating, a leaking roof. Rent was $480 a month. Electricity was metered, and every unexpected expense felt like a threat. Sometimes he had to choose between gas and groceries. His trailer stood on land where nobody asked questions because nobody expected anything from people who lived there. During the day, Tyler took whatever work he could find, unloading trucks, warehouse shifts, temporary labor, nothing stable, nothing with a future. At night, he sat inside the trailer with a cheap laptop and scrolled through Craigslist and Facebook Marketplace. That's when he noticed a pattern. People were constantly getting rid of used electronics, phones, laptops, tablets, consoles. The reasons repeated over and over: upgraded to a new one, need quick cash, don't use it anymore. Prices were low, sometimes absurdly low. One evening, he bought a used laptop for $90. He cleaned it, replaced the battery for $28, spent a few hours fixing small issues, and sold it for $220. Net profit about $80, and for most people that meant nothing. For Tyler, it meant food for a week. He repeated the process again and again. After 1 month, he had flipped 12 devices and earned close to $900 in profit. He still lived in the trailer, but something had changed. He finally felt control. He started tracking numbers. Margins averaged 25 to 35%. Demand was constant. Supply was messy but endless. And there was one problem that kept killing deals: trust. Sellers lied, buyers disappeared, meetups failed, payments got disputed. Every day, Tyler watched deals collapse, not because of lack of demand, but because there was no system. The market existed, the structure didn't, and the breaking point came when he bought a bulk lot of tablets. Half of them didn't turn on, losses reached $1,300, almost everything he had saved. He sat in the trailer staring at boxes of useless electronics and realized something clearly: if he stayed a reseller, he would always be one bad deal away from zero. Either he accepted that life, or he built something bigger than himself. Tyler didn't think about startups or trends. He thought about pain. What if devices were verified before sale? What if payments were held until delivery was confirmed? What if rules protected both sides? It wasn't a revolutionary idea, it was order, and order was exactly what this market lacked. He had no money for developers, so he taught himself everything at night: coding tutorials, payment systems, basic design. The first version of the platform took 3 months. It looked terrible. It crashed. It broke constantly, but it worked. He reached out to people he already knew, other resellers, messaging them personally, explaining the concept, asking them to try. The first 20 sellers listed 73 products. Commission was 6%. And in the first month, the platform processed 41 transactions. Roughly $18,000 in volume and just over $1,000 in commission. Less than he made flipping devices himself, but now it wasn't tied to his hands. It was a system. 3 months in, everything nearly collapsed. A payment bug delayed transfers. Customers got angry, refunds piled up, 17 furious emails arrived in one night. Tyler didn't sleep for 2 days, and he fixed bugs, answered every message personally, and refunded money until his bank balance nearly hit zero. But something unexpected happened. Not a single user left. Growth continued without ads. People recommended the platform because deals closed, disputes dropped, and listings matched reality. By month 6, there were over 420 active sellers, around 3,600 listings, monthly transaction volume close to $480,000, and commission revenue near $28,000. Tyler was still living in the trailer. Every dollar went back into the platform. But growth didn't feel like success. It felt like pressure. Every new seller meant more responsibility. Support tickets exploded, disputes increased. At one point, payment processors froze $190,000 in escrow due to chargebacks. For 2 weeks, the business ran on almost no cash flow. Tyler cut his salary to zero and paid his team first. He introduced mandatory device inspections, serial tracking, seller reputation scores. Growth slowed. Monthly volume dipped from $700,000 to $520,000, but refunds dropped by 63%. Trust stabilized, growth resumed, slower, cleaner, stronger. He negotiated bulk shipping rates, cutting logistics costs by 18%, added a small dispute buffer fee that turned losses into revenue. By month 18, the platform had processed over 42,000 transactions and more than $6.4 million in total volume. Tyler learned the hardest lesson in business: scaling chaos only multiplies failure. Systems don't grow, you force them to survive. Once revenue crossed 7 figures, attention followed. Quiet emails, investors asking for numbers, churn rates, margins. Tyler declined most conversations. One fund offered $1.5 million for 30% of the company. Another pushed aggressive expansion. Tyler ran the math and saw the trap: high burn, low control. Instead, he focused on profit. Marketing stayed under 4% of revenue. Seller growth remained organic. By month 24, monthly commission averaged $210,000. Net margin stabilized at 22%. Annual profit crossed $1 million. Competitors appeared, burned cash, and disappeared. Tyler didn't celebrate. He reinforced legal structure, compliance, audits. By year 3, the platform wasn't a side project anymore. It was infrastructure. Large retailers joined with bulk inventory. Average order value reached $340. Commission rose to 8%. Annual turnover surpassed $9 million. Tyler moved out of the trailer, not to upgrade his lifestyle, but to live somewhere quiet with hot water. The acquisition email arrived without drama. A major e-commerce group offered a full buyout, $7 million. Cash, no stock, no promises. Tyler took 3 weeks to decide, not because of the number, but because of what it represented. And then he signed. Today, Tyler Brooks isn't an influencer. He doesn't sell courses. He doesn't speak on stages. He's just a man who lived in a trailer, noticed disorder, and built a system around it. The money came later. Big businesses rarely start with inspiration. They start with irritation. The only question is whether you ignore it or build a market on top of it.